Hello everyone, it's Makaveli in the house and welcome to today's analysis on Bitcoin and altcoins. So it's been a tug of war in the current zone where we are between Bitcoin and the bears. So we're going to look at the chart and see what the technical analysis is saying and what we could likely be expecting from the market for the rest of March. Thank you for joining me. So we'll be looking at Bitcoin first, then we'll also be looking at Ethereum as well. You can see Ethereum is been also, the bulls have not been doing bad as well. We'll also be looking at Litecoin, as well as Bitcoin Cash, and one of the most talked all-time altcoin, XRP, right? We're going to look at XRP to see what XRP is likely going to print any moment from now. So this is my 4 hours chart. I'm going to be starting with Bitcoin because as you all know, Bitcoin has some type of dominance over other altcoin, right? So if Bitcoin is pumping, most times we see altcoin pumping, and when Bitcoin reacts to resistance, we as well see altcoins reacting to resistance. So if you look at my chart here, we are seeing a broad channel, right? An expanding channel, right? When I mean expanding, you see it was contrasted here and it expands like a fan as price moves, right? This is expanding like this, and this zone is also expanding like this. So we see that expansion in the channel, but at the middle of the channel, if you look closely, you're going to see my yellow line. Now this yellow line is of importance because it's like the average of the whole channel, right? But most times I tend to, how do I determine this midline? I tend to see common zones of resistance and support, right? So I can see some rejection, and I can see it serving as support here, around the zone as well, right? And you can see it here. You can see how the bulls battled to stay above it here, and the same thing happened here, but they failed in this particular area where they were forced to touch the lower aspect of the expanding channel. Now this expanding channel is, you're likely going to see two parties trading here, right? So we see the bulls have more force than the bears, right? So it's like we see price moving something like this, and there's always a reaction when we get to the seller's line. So like this is the seller's line right here. Up here is the seller's line, right? So far in this seller's line we have three good touches, right? We have one here, right, at the beginning of the channel, and we have a second one. Now mind you, this is the 4 hours chart, right? So then we have another one right here. So that's the first thing to take note of, the channel, right? That's the first thing we're seeing price being contained in a channel. Now what's the second thing? Now you see this aspect, right? Whenever price gets to it, there's a reaction. Now that's what we got here, and this reaction that happened, unfortunately the bull force was so strong that you see them fighting for this midline and making it above the midline. Now we have a support around the zone, right? Around the zone. So we have this accumulation that is happening here, and whenever you see a accumulation, is a sign of a pause. Now there's something you must also know, is that just like this is a resistance here, if we extend that resistant line, we're going to see that the bulls are back to that resistant line. So we're seeing them back to that resistance line on BTC. This is 4 hours chart, mind you. So if we zoom closer, let's go to the 1 hour chart now, and let me show you something. So let me turn on my exponential moving average. So I'll be using the 20 exponential moving average as well as the 55 exponential moving average. So the white one, let's zoom in, right? Let's go back to 4 hours to do this. So I'm using 4 hours because I know that, you know, good money is in the swing, right? You want to swing, like you want to swing the big money, right? So in a lower time frame, it's going to look more like it's still in the sideways, and we're yet to have a break, because as long as price is still below the last low, chances of this bulls getting pushed down is still existing, right? And that will not be a good thing. Why do I say that will not be a good thing? Obviously that will give us a double top, right? We already have the first top the first time they tried the 58k, right? This is now the second time they are coming close to that number, so we don't want that rejection. Bulls obviously don't want that happening right now, so you're going to see some sort of battle around this 58k area, because bulls want to get above it, because once they get above it, then it can propel them to try the 60k resistance. Now mind you, my target on Bitcoin is 60k to 68k. So once I get to 60k, I start moving my stop loss quite very tight, right? I start getting very aggressive with my stop loss. Now if you don't know how to set stop loss or manual stop loss on spot, if you are trading Bitcoin spot, now you can join the family Makaveli traders, where you can learn how to trail your stop loss on your trade, right? I'm going to also make a video on that anyway. But if you look closely here, like I said, bulls don't want this rejection, so we're going to see bull forces coming in. But the point is, the only thing that's going to make a real good difference in all of this is the buy power, right? The buy power, or the amount of pressure the bulls put up here. And mind you, chances of them get, now what I see now happening is they could get pushed down. Now during the weekend they could get pushed down now, right? So we could have this sideways thing happening and they could get pushed down. Now that's the first option, right? So now mind you, what we're doing here is we're trying to predict what is going to happen, and we could see these bulls exciting pressure and they will make an attempt to break out, right? So that's the first option, right? And they can break out to this point, right? Before we now mind you, what I see is this: after they get to this point there will be a reaction, but this time around this reaction is going to bring them all the way back to this support area. Now if I extend my support area now, like I always say, support is an area, resistance is an area, okay? Resistance and support is an area. Because if I pick my rectangle, so you see the same area, right? So look closely, let's zoom in so that I'm going to show you something. Okay, let's take these guys out. Let's take all of them out. Alright, so that you're going to see what I'm about to show you now. Why I say that support and resistance is an area, right? So why I say support and resistance is an area is this. Now mind you, support, where you're going to see your exact support is not likely where the next trader is going to see their exact support. I'm talking about the exact number, right? But it is likely we are all going to see our support and resistance. Maybe mine will be here, yours will be here, the next person here, the third person here, another person here, and then you see different traders are seeing resistance here, right? I'm talking about resistance, not support right now. This time around is resistance. Why? Because it's still ahead of price. Price is still below it, right? So some are going to see theirs here. Now, depending on who. Now, there's no way, based on perception, people's perception of resistance and support, especially price action, believe it is an area, right? That we believe that support and resistance is not aligned. So because it's an area, so many traders are going to see this area as a resistance, because the last time price came, it formed the chop, right? So you can see it here. The peak, right? It formed the peak, right? Which is the resistance area, right? This is a chop. This is the peak, right? So it formed the peak. So which means now that we are back at it, the same area, like they say, history repeats itself, reaction is possible. So that's what we are seeing right now, that 58k zone again. So bulls are trying to overcome this 58k zone. Now, like I said, my target is 68k, but once we get to 60k, now I am going to start moving my stop loss, right? I'm going to start trailing my stop loss up. The reason why I'm trailing my stop loss up is this, because there could be a reaction, a rejection. Now I don't want, because bulls are going to make an attempt and they're going to try this 58k. So we're going to likely see this 58k push up again, right? So if they succeed in the 58k, they will make it to 60k. Now 60k is a whole number, right? 60k is a whole number, and whole numbers have this effect, the whole number effect. So you want to, because here's the thing, if we go to weekly chart, I'm about to show you something. If we go to weekly chart, it gets really interesting, right? So what we're seeing on the weekly chart is this. On Bitcoin, so we're seeing a pause, right? So what we're seeing is just the same pause we had here, right? So we had a pause in this zone here. So what we're seeing is we're seeing here. So it is likely that the next week, right? This is weekly chart. Now we are going to battle this point again, which means when the week open, if this week does not successfully close above 60k, then next week is going to open and we're going to have this push down. And that's why we could see this retest of this support one more time. That's the second aspect of what we're seeing likely going to play out for the rest of March, right? That is if we don't see bulls closing above this, because what we are seeing here is a mother bar, right? This red bar is a mother bar, and as well as a bearish engulfing, right? So let's look candlesticks, right, on a higher time frame. All right, let's look at it in terms of candlesticks on a higher time frame, right? What's this candlestick saying? What are the candlesticks formation we're having right now? So if you look closely, this is such a 2-bar reversal, because look at this. The last time we had a pause, the bears were not so strong. Look at it. They ended up forming a bullish inside bar, right? The last other time, the first time we tried it, the same thing happened, but this time around the bears are getting stronger, right? So we see this 2-bar reversal happening right here, right? So if for the weekly chart, what we are seeing right now is wave 3, right? So this is the wave 1 and this is the wave 2, and we just completed wave 3, right? So we're about to enter wave 4. Now each wave, the pullback is increasing. That's on a higher time frame, right? We see the pullback increasing with each wave. Now successfully in the last 2 previous wave pullback, we see that we successfully touch the support on the buyer's support line, right? But it is missing here, right? So we see the bull prey avoiding touching the support, the trend line that it has been respecting since the beginning of this bull run on Bitcoin, right? Now, like I said, I'll be using the 20 exponential moving average. Now, some of us will believe that, okay, the 20 exponential moving average is not that effective on higher time frame. I agree, no doubt, it's more effective on lower time frame. But look, even on the higher time frame, it's not even close to touching it yet since the breakout. Now, if I go to 4 hours, you're going to see what is happening. So on the 4 hours, we see the 20 exponential moving average is currently reading price out, right? And like I said, we have a double top, right? Have all these signs at the back of your mind, so that when we go back to the weekly chart, you see the chances that if this week does not successfully close above this current resistance area, we could have a push down coming. We could have a push taking us back to this guy, right? Before we could now have the strength or the bull force to probably propel bulls to clear this 60k resistance area. Because you see, from that 58k, we've started seeing it's like an effect, like a repulsion of that whole number 60k. It happened around the 50k area, right? When we first got to the 50k area, that repulsion happened around 48k. Yes, we started having it. Like, look at it here, we started having that repulsion, right? So it's the same repulsion Bitcoin felt around 28k zone, right? So you see the same repulsion right now happening in this zone. That's why we're seeing this. You can see this clear resistance area. So the bulls have to successfully close above 60k to avoid them getting pushed down. So even if they get to 60k, they don't want to avoid something like this happening and they find themselves back to this current support right here, because this is going to be like a magnet, right? So this inside this midline is a magnet zone. You can see the wall is the sideways. Whenever you see consolidations or sideways, it shows an equilibrium between buyers and sellers. It shows equal power between buyers and sellers, and buyers successfully actually broke above the mid channel battle, right? But just above them is a seller's house, right? A strong seller's area. Now here's the thing. Now there is a gap that I'm seeing here, right? There's a little gap, and this gap can get filled up here, right, by the bulls. Yes, the chances are there. That's why I say my target is 68k. That is my target. So if you're a sports trader, I think being patient is the best thing out of all of this. If you can be patient, trust me, you're going to rip something out. But here's what I'm saying. We're going to get a reaction, right? So something is going to bring Bitcoin back to this support. Either it is now, depending on the supply and demand, like I said, depending on the buy and the supply and demand. Now those who shorted here, we could have a stop loss hunt where price could break above, could get to 60k, around 61 to 62k zone, get rejected, and we have this breakout getting rejected to come back to this point, right? To come back right here. Could have that rejection happen to bring Bitcoin down to 50k again, all the way to 48k zone, right? Or 48k to 52k area. We could have that rejection happening, and what is going to cause that is going to be stop loss hunt of shorters, those who shorted here, right? So that stop loss hunt is likely going to happen, right? So if you're on futures, it's good to have your stop loss close by. If you shorted here and you are there to take profit, right? Because it could be a stop loss hunt where bulls are going to clear all the stop losses of those who shorted here, and again it's going to get rejected and we have things going down, right? Because the reason is this 60k area is just starting to show its effect. It's just starting to show its effect, right? We're just beginning to see the effect of this 60k. We're yet to touch it yet, so you have to put that at the back of your mind. So with that being said, the trend is not yet reversed. The trend is still bullish, right? Because I know the bulls still will make it to 60k, and at least they will get to 60. This point will be hit. 68k zone, 66 to 8k zone is going to hit, right? So that 80k is a strong resistance, and I know that this could lead to a very strong downpour on Bitcoin. Now, how will this affect the altcoins? If you ask me, how will it affect the altcoins, right? So let's look at the altcoins. Now mind you, this analysis is looking at what is going to happen to the crypto community, the Bitcoin and the altcoin for the rest of March. So you can see we've done weekly analysis, and I said that Bitcoin pending one leg down, right? A pending leg down. Where's the pending leg down? If they don't succeed, now the bulls are still strong, mind you. The bulls are still strong because they are still attempting that 58k zone, right? They are still attempting that 58k resistance, but trust me, they are not going to make it out that easily in one cross, right? So they could get another reaction coming, and if they make it, 60k is another resistance. So the whole of this area, like I said, is a resistance. So let's look at Ethereum and see what Ethereum has in store for us. So this is Ethereum. Let's look at the bars. Let's start with the weekly chart. Start with from the higher time frame. Okay, and let's take all this out. Let's just start this whole drawing all from beginning. All right, so let's draw our support and resistance. So we're starting with a plain chart on Ethereum. What does Ethereum have in stock out? The resistance and support area. So that's clearly the least support area we are seeing on the chart, right? It's clear. You can see the touches on the support. So next we're going to try to locate the resistance so far. All right, this is the last time all-time high. All right, and we have another one right here, right? Okay, yes, there's one right here, and right here see one, some area right here. All right, right here. So that's our horizontal resistance and support, very visible on the chart. So now let's see, let's go to the daily chart and see if we can come out with the areas that are getting really affected by this. So this is our daily chart. So let's see if we can get some trend lines in. All right, let's get our trend lines. Let's first get the bulls trend line, right? So we need the minimum of 2 touches, right? Minimum of 2 touches. So we have one here. Minimum of 2 touches, right? So it could be 3, 4, 5 and more, but minimum of 2 touches. That's what we want our trend line for the bulls to be. All right, So let's get the seller's line, right? And just like the bulls, the seller's trend line, we also need minimum of 2 touches. Now we see that we had a breakout. So we had a breakout from here. We had a breakout. So first, before we start the seller's line, let's see what happened. Let's look at what happened in the past. So we noticed that there's been a sideways movement for some time in the market, for quite a period of time. You can see it. So there was a kind of compression in price, and yes, so you can see the rejection is obvious here and here, and we had a breakout, and then there was a pullback before the move started, right? So we know that this is an area of importance, right? So we have that at the back of our mind. That's the beginning of a new trend. So we have a change in trend. First it was downtrend, sideways, and now accumulation, and now we had a breakout to the upside. So now we're about to draw the seller's line. Having that at the back of mind, we're going to start the seller's line. It's going to be like this. So the first one I'm going to draw, I'm going to see I need a minimum of 2 touches, right? I need a minimum of 2 touches since breakout, right? So you can see that based on our breakout and retest, this is where it all started, right here. This is the first high that we noticed since the breakout. So this is the first breakout from this sideways market, like I said. So this is the first breakout, and it came back to retest to turn the resistance into a new support. So this is our first high. So this is our first touch, right? Keep that at the back of your mind. So we have our seller's line, right? So we see price getting a reaction each time it touches this line. And for the bears, we have 1, 2, 3. Let's say this ended here, all right? 3. So we have 3 touches, and for the buyers, we have 2 touches. This 1 and 2. Like I said, on each of them we need a minimum of 2 touches. So right now we're seeing this, the pressure is more on the seller's line, right? That I want to find the midline between these 2 points. Like, where is the area that they battle each other for dominance more on this channel? So what we've seen here is an extended channel. This is a channel. Now a channel contains prices between 2 lines, right? Price are stuck between 2 lines. Now this midline, okay, trying to get okay, let's see. This midline seems to be this line acted as a support countless time, and you can see, okay, here it acted as a resistance, here is a support, here is a support, here it was a battle sideways, and now they are back at it, right? They are back above it, and it's a battle again, and they are trying to stay above it. Just like I said in Bitcoin, that Bitcoin needs to overcome this line here. You can see they made it above this midline, right? So they need to overcome that line. That's where the challenge is right now. And Bitcoin, if the bull force fail to hold up, like I said, we're going to get a rejection, right? But what I see mostly is that this point won't come that easily. It could go like this, right? They could attempt it again, but on a second attempt, the bulls are not going to make it out easily. So I think they are going to have a third attempt, and the fourth one, so it's going to come like this. If they fail, it could come like this and go again, and this time around go. That is very possible, but my target is 68k, like I said. it's not going to be an easy journey, right? That's one thing you must know. It's not going to be an easy journey. Now altcoins are going to pump for one good high last time. Trust me, these altcoins are going to pump, and Ethereum is not going to miss it. Ethereum this time around could be heading for somewhere to 2,400, somewhere around here. So we could see Ethereum trying another new high, right? But then Ethereum is going to come up here. Ethereum is yet to make it back to that 2,000, which is trying to, and is going to successfully make it back to 2,000. And when it gets to this 2,000, it's going to experience the resistance, right? But can it break above this resistance? Of course, yes, it's going to break above this resistance, because just like Bitcoin is going to make a move up, right? We still have this wave moving up, right? So the move is supposed to be like this, but it's not going to be a straight easy ride. So we could have a reaction here, and then it continues, right? So the same thing, like I said, Bitcoin could get here, we could get a reaction, and it continues depending on the supply and demand, right? Depending on supply and demand. But as far as I'm concerned, I see over 60k coming on Bitcoin, and that is also going to propel Ethereum and the rest, right? So that's what I'm saying. So Ethereum chances are also high. So if you're trading spot Ethereum or futures Ethereum, I think trying to hold and pyramiding is a very good idea, right? What is pyramiding, right? So that is, you don't want to add to a negative position. That is a wrong idea. Pyramiding is more like adding to a already winning position, right? Let's say you enter the trade here and it's moving up, and then it's pull back. When it pull back, it doesn't go below the last low. You add to your position and it keeps going, right? You're pyramiding as the price is moving, right? So we could see that happening. It's not going to be okay. Take for an instance. Did you see what happened here? Did you see this move here, right? So you see this move. This is what I see likely playing out here on Ethereum as well as BTC. So the bears are not going to give it an easy shot, and if the supply power is not enough, the bulls will make it through. Now if the demand power is not enough, they will fail, and that is absolutely what I don't want right now, because for me my stop loss is still placed below this swing, right? So but depending on how I see things, I don't want bulls getting pushed below this yellow line. I think it's a good thing that they are above it, because it's a good support. It's been acting like a good support. It's a good support here, and it has successfully held here. So if they can stay above it, chances are they will keep moving until we see at least 68k. So they don't want getting pushed below this between the rest of March. Ethereum, the same thing. The bulls needs to hold up the midline, right? So that is exactly what I'm saying on Ethereum, right? So if we go on 4 hours chart, so let's take away some of this so that we can see. So let's look at 4 hours chart and see what Ethereum has for us. I'll also be looking at the exponential moving average to see what they have for us. But first, let's just pure price action, no indicators, keep it simple and stupid. You know, I like it simple and stupid. So bear with me as we go through this chart one after the other on Ethereum. So if you look at Ethereum, right, wow, what I see in Ethereum is beautiful, right? So we're seeing inverse head and shoulder, right? So we see it like this, right? Something like this, right? It's back, and you know the neckline is somewhere here, right? So this is our left shoulder, our head, and our right shoulder, right? Right shoulder, right? So something like that. So it's going to be shoulder, the head, right? And we know what inverse head and shoulder is that it will make a move that is exactly the height of the head, right? So this head, right? So we're going to get a move exactly the height of this head, right? So it's going to likely, there will be a retest of the breakout. So we're going to have something like this happening, right, on Ethereum. So if I move this measurement, so like I say, you see that, so we're going to have something like this happening, right? This is what we're going to have, right? A measured move of the head. That's what we're having. A measured move of this head, of the inverse head and shoulder. So you see that again is around that 2000. Like I said, there will be a battle. Once it get here, there will be a reaction. So if it gets to 2000, probably a little above it, then it's going to pull back, and we're going to get this sideways reaction, and we could see them getting pushed down if they fail to hold up, if they demand gets low on that 2000 again. But there will be an attempt. I see Ethereum heading to that 2000 again, right, from the current 1007 something. So we're going to get to that 2000 again. And not just that, if bulls demand keep growing, then 2400 is my target. My target for the rest of March is 2400, right? March to April, right? On Ethereum, 2400. That's my target. So we could see that beautifully playing out. But taking Bitcoin into consideration now, if I take Bitcoin into consideration now, and like I said, with the battle I'm seeing Bitcoin facing in this 58k zone, if the bulls demand doesn't grow and outgrow Bitcoin above, and Bitcoin reacts, and even if it gets to 60k and reacts and go down and doesn't hold this yellow line and come down, then Ethereum will find itself coming down here one more time, and it's going to be like a stop loss hunt, right? So it's going to clear all the people that have been buying here, and then it's going to come right here back to where it's almost where it started from, right? But we don't want that rejection. We want price to hold up what it has started, right? What do I mean by price holding up what it started? So let's just try to draw. We are on the 4 hours chart now, so we're going to use the 4 hours chart to draw a trend line. Now I give you all these hints so that whenever you see one playing out, you already know what is following through. Being open-minded is the best thing, and never get emotional in this market. Pullbacks are always normal in every market, trust me. How you manage your emotions determine the kind of profit, and trust me, the good monies are always in the swings, right? You want to follow a swing. So what we are targeting is a swing, and the swing is a swing to, on Bitcoin, is a swing to 60k to 68k, right? So once it gets to 60k, we start putting our stop loss in place and start moving it up. But right now we don't want to do that because we want to avoid stop loss hunts, right? So as you can see, it's been respecting this line so far. The bulls have been respecting this line. Oh, they've been doing great, fantastic. The question is, can they maintain above this line? Now you can see the fight is on already, right? They need to maintain above this line, right? Above this point, so that they can pick up. But they could come for a retest to this yellow line before they can continue, depending on Bitcoin reaction. Because the more Bitcoin react, the more altcoin are going to react. So Bitcoin is like the lion in the jungle, and sometimes it affects the altcoin even when they did not pump when it's pumping. So it's good to always keep an eye on Bitcoin, especially when analyzing the altcoins. You want to compare the performance of Bitcoin or Bitcoin dominance over the altcoins, right? Over the rest of the market. So that's what I'm saying on Ethereum. So my Ethereum target is 2400. So we're going to try now to look at LTC. All right, let's see what HCC has for us. So if you're holding, hold tight, because trust me, some good profits are coming. And if you're trading futures, remember that the money is in the swing. So, and getting the bag out takes patience. You know, we're just seeing price trying to break out from the sideways. The same thing on almost all the coin. You can see just trying to break out from the sideways, right? So even BTC, as you can see, we still have that inverse head and shoulder, and that is what has played out so far, right? So you can see it. So this is where it broke above it, right? Once it broke above it, it's going to likely come and retest it, and like I said before, moving, right? That's what I see. That's what I see. Left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, right? The right shoulder on Bitcoin. So if I look at Litecoin now, it gets really interesting, because unlike other coins, Litecoin midline is a bit funny, right? So it's a bit it's not a bit straight like you want it. So sometimes some of these prices, so even if I try to place it here, you can see this is where it's supposed to be. Yes, but I actually placed it earlier where it was, because I saw something unique about that place. So the color, there's something unique about that point. There's like a pattern the price is playing in that point. So let me make it this color. Yeah, so here's what I'm saying, that anytime price gets to it, there's a reaction, right? There's a serious reaction in this zone, and it do gets to price just like the midline, right? So you see it. So buyers and sellers have themselves reacting to this line more often than they think, right? Like there's this emotional turmoil that happens whenever price gets to this line, right? So you can see it on Litecoin, right? And the same thing on the midline, right? So this is the midline. You can see it, the battle of the midline between the buyers and sellers. The way supply and demand fluctuate high around this line. Okay, so you see that. So like I said, our low line, which is the lowest line, which happens to be the bulls line, must have a minimum of 2 touches, and in our situation on Litecoin, we actually have 3 touches, right? And our sellers line, which is the top line, must have a minimum of 2 touches, which is in our case we have 3 touches, right? So we see price moving something like this, like a wave. Price is moving like this between the lines, right? So you can see how price keeps respecting this line. Now this is very important, because each time price gets to that line, we should expect a reaction. That's what we're going to have at the back of our mind, that each time price gets to this point, we're going to see a reaction. All right, having that at the back of our mind, now let's zoom in. Let's go and start with the weekly chart on Litecoin. Let's see what. Okay, looking at Litecoin in generally is so beautiful that Litecoin is going to, my target on Litecoin is actually $400. $400 actually on Litecoin. That's my target. It's one of the coins that I'm buying stupidly. The more I see any pullback, I'm buying this coin. Like I'm just buying more. I'm buying more, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about Litecoin. There's this double bottom that played out in Bitcoin. So if I bring Bitcoin, now I always tell you I like using Bitcoin as reference in all my analysis, right?
So there's this Bitcoin is even triple bottom, so like 1, 2, and 3, right? Ethereum should be like, okay, this is it playing out in Ethereum. So we have this double bottom, and you can see the outcome of the double bottom on Ethereum. This is what we are going to see happening in Litecoin, right? So we're seeing Litecoin with that same double bottom pattern, price action pattern, W, right? So we're going to see it coming all the way up here, which is fantastic because price is still around 190 something, which means you're going to make absolutely like double your money right now, even at the current zone of Litecoin on the higher time frame, right? So I'm talking about from now to March, April, we're going to see Litecoin making this fantastic move up on Litecoin. Now, if I'm to take Litecoin view on the daily chart, right? Let's go back. Let's look at Litecoin on daily chart and see what Litecoin is saying, right? If I look at Litecoin on daily chart, it gets really interesting. It gets really interesting for Litecoin, right? Right? So if you look at Litecoin now, like I said, you see Litecoin reacting to that middle line that I talked about, right? So this particular line, right? You can see each time it's just obsessed with this line, right? So we're back on that line, right? But this time around, the bulls wants to get above it. So they are going to, this is the first attempt on the line, and they got pushed down. This is the second attempt on the line. This is the third. So they are going to get above this line. Now it's interesting because when I turn on my exponential moving average on Litecoin, now this is the daily chart. So I'm going to turn on my 55 exponential moving average. Did you see the balance it had on the support? Now this is the same support that Bitcoin and Ethereum actually skipped, right? Look closely, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum are comfortably sitting on 55 exponential moving average. They are not even. Let's turn off all these drawings so that we're going to see clearly what is happening here. Let's see what's happening here. We're trying to compare Bitcoin to Litecoin, right? Remember, you want to see what Bitcoin is doing to see, because if Bitcoin is dumping, it's going to affect some of the altcoins. So you want Bitcoin to be on the moving side, right? Or on a sideways. Either it's on a sideways or a moving side. That's when the altcoin take advantage to pump. So if you look closely here, you see that here Bitcoin successfully sat on the 55 exponential moving average. This is daily chart, so we're using 55 exponential moving average, but it skipped it here, right? There's a skip here, right? There's a skip here, right? There's a gap between the 55 exponential moving average and price. There's a gap. Now this gap is going to get filled up. There's a gap, right? Now when you compare it to Litecoin filled the gap. Litecoin took the time to sit comfortably on this support for quite some time, right? So while Bitcoin is moving, Litecoin hasn't moved, right? Litecoin is just that is happening right here, which is actually a good thing, right? It's accumulation. It's just the same thing that happened here, right? Look at this point. It's the same thing happening here, right? So it's a good thing. It's an accumulation. So by the time the move is going to start, we're going to see Litecoin making a new all-time high. We're going to see, in fact, this analysis is simply telling you we are going to see a new all-time high on Bitcoin, a new all-time high on Ethereum, and a new all-time high on Litecoin before a big major dump comes in. So that's what I'm saying. Because there's a dump coming, but first we're going to get a new all-time high, which means we're going to have that touch to the upside here, right? So we're going to see Bitcoin, Litecoin, not Bitcoin, Litecoin. We're going to see Litecoin moving, because what we are seeing now is a breakout and a retest on Litecoin. A successful breakout and retest on Litecoin. So this is the breakout happened here, breakout, then came back and retest. So now we're going to have a move that is going to move up, right? So I won't be surprised if Litecoin totally gets to 270 to $280 anytime soon. I see that happening very, very soon. Within March, it's possible. Within March, it's very possible within March. Now, depending on how long it takes bulls to actually make their ways out of this place, because anytime soon I see bulls making their way out of this sideways movement on Litecoin and getting above this yellow line. And once they do, they will still react here. Once they react here, and boom, once they get here, and then we could see a move up, right? But expect a reaction just like here. Expect a reaction here. Expect a reaction of 230 zone. Yeah, you're going to get a reaction on Litecoin on 230, but my long-term target on a swing, because look at it, this swing is just starting on Litecoin, because just like here, the swing is still just here, right? So the swing is just starting on Litecoin. So if you're going to swing it, you're going to swing it all the way up here, right? Once I get to $300, I start using a stop loss, right? I start putting my trailing stop loss. I start trailing it and going. That's very important for spot trading. You can remember loss manually. Remember that you can set stop loss manually. But, that is daily chart for you. Let's look at the candles say about Litecoin. What should we expect based on the candles? So if you look at the candles here, it's quite interesting, because we just had a breakout candle, which is this candle, right? This candle broke the resistance, right? So obviously we had a clear resistance right here, and we have this bull candle with a full grown body breaking that resistance line, telling you that we just destroyed the seller's line, and get ready, something is coming. Something is actually coming on Litecoin. That's what they are telling you. Get ready. Now, just above them is a resistance, and we see that reaction with this second candle, but unfortunately for this candle, it did not end up closing below, like, let's say it gave us like a 2-bar reversal, or like here, okay, like here there was a little rejection, and you see this push down happening here. So in our situation, it's not the case. There's no rejection here, because the next candle obviously showed us that the bears were not strong enough. Even there was a drag, they pushed price down, the bulls came back and took price right back up, right? So, and you can see what is happening with the current daily candle. You also see the bulls are the ones pushing price back up, right? So, and this my line, the bulls have been maintaining it, and this line could lead them all the way up, right, to push above this line, right? So we are seeing a bullish scenario coming through, where we could start seeing big candles getting printed out on Litecoin anytime soon. So Litecoin is actually still on a good buy, good potential, way more potential than Litecoin right now, than Bitcoin right now. Litecoin has way more potential than Bitcoin in this zone, right? So that's what I see, a comfortable support happening in this zone, which is beautiful, very beautiful. And if I go to the 4 hours, you're going to see something now. You're going to see how price is sitting on the 20 exponential moving average, and you can see now anytime I see a sideways happening below resistance, it's a good thing, because I know that resistance could get broken at any time. Because I know that resistance could get broken at any time. So anytime I see a sideways movement, I get excited because it get easily pushed down. No, actually that's not the first time. This is the first time here, right? And this is a complete 2-bar rejection right there. So they were completely rejected the first time they come. Look at it. This is the resistance I'm talking about. This line right there. The first time they arrived at it, they got completely, absolutely rejected with this 2-bar reversal, and that led to the push down. The second time, they get rejected again. The third time, they got rejected again. Now this time around, they made it above it, which is the breakout I'm talking about, right? This is the same breakout I showed you on the daily chart, right? I said that candle that broke. So let's look at the daily chart. So this candle, actually this candle, I'm referring to this candle right here. So let's move there so that you see the candle. I'm referring to this particular candle. So this particular candle was a complete breakout, right? So this green candle here is a complete breakout. So if we go back to 4 hours, we see that there was a breakout, right? So this breakout had price sitting above that same resistance, turning the resistance into support. Because look at the next time they tried to break the support, there was a rejection, right? And now it's trying again, and there's another rejection, right? So which tells you now bulls are actually gathering the strength needed to make it above this point, right? Above this yellow line. So which means we could be seeing 220 anytime soon. And once they make it above this line, you should know their next target is 240, right? Once they make it above this line, their next target is going to be 240 on Litecoin. So we could see this breakout happening anytime soon. That is it for Litecoin. Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, because of what I'm saying on Litecoin, right? It's so bullish that if you actually enter right here, if you are not even too late to the party, right? It's the beginning of the party. It's just the beginning of the party on Litecoin. So we could see this party going all the way to 280 to 300, right? We could see this party, but I see good target will be my first target 300, next target 350, then 400, right? Now 400 is a big time target, but I know we're going to see 300 sooner than enough, right? Which will be like giving you over 100% of your current, if you go currently to be around 300 will give you over 80%, you understand, return on your money, which is a beautiful thing, which is a very, very beautiful thing. So if I look at the most beautiful coins we're going to talk about next, so that's it for Litecoin. Let's look at BCH, Bitcoin Cash. Now this is this is one of the interesting coins, you know. It's interesting because of the way it moves, goes back and forth and back and forth, which tells you that when it finally starts moving, something is going to go wild here. I see something is going to go wild here. I see this coin going wild soon. So let's dive straight into it, right? Let's dive straight into it. Let's see what we have here. Let's start with the weekly chart. If you have any questions or any coin you want me to analyze, you can leave it in the comment below, and trust me, I'll take a look at the coin and let you know my opinions on the coin or what you should expect in March. Look at this coin. It's not been all rosy for this coin. Trust me, it's not been all rosy. The weekly chart, it's not been all rosy. Trust me. BCH. Before we look at BCH, I think we should look at SRP, because SRP and BCH has a very similar pattern here. It's been back and forth on these two coins for quite some time. It's been back and forth on these two coins. So if you look at SRP right here, it's really very interesting. SRP has not had the smoothest sail so far. I must tell you, it's not been smooth at all. We see SRP having a major support around this zone, right? And a parabolic move is coming to SRP actually, from what I see, because of the way the channel is being built. It's just like this downpour is also a parabolic move down, right? You see, it's almost a parabolic move down, right? So that is what is happening to the bull trend of it. So we're going to likely see that parabolic move up again on SRP. This is the weekly chart. Why do I say there's a parabolic move coming? Alright, let me show you. Now, first there was a sideways movement for some time on SRP on the weekly chart. Sorry, excuse me. So there's first of all, there's a sideways move, which is accumulation, right? Now, mind you, technically, there's a breakout, right? There's a breakout, the first breakout here, and then there's a rejection, and then price has made it back to that point, right? The rejection was a retest. Now, price has made it back to that resistance. This is the resistance area we are now. Now, mind you, bulls and the bears are actually really having hard time overcoming this point, but it is still on the bull side. Why do I say it's on the bull side? This is the 55 exponential moving average. Price has gone above it, right? And not just that, price is comfortably still above it and respecting this our bias line. Now, for quite some time, price has been stuck in that area, like I said, because why? Because bulls are trying to turn the previous resistance into support. Now, this is it. So they pushed them down the first time. Look at this. They pushed them down. They went above it. They got pushed down again. They tried. They got pushed down. Now they are back on it, right? And the same 55 exponential moving average on the daily chart is what is holding price right now. Now, there's a very important thing about this 55-day exponential moving average, is because it is a longer time frame exponential moving average, unlike the 20 exponential moving average, right? And not just that, the reaction of price above it, right? So we are seeing this sideways movement happening just above the exponential moving average. So what we are seeing is bulls are gathering the energy to propel them up. So we could see this sideways go on until it touched this white line here, and then we see a price move up all the way to that 0.79. The real resistance area is there, is this slanting trend line down, right? It shows the real resistance, right? So we have a touch here and a touch here, right? So we could see price coming back to attempt on it, right? So, and when price attempt, still going to happen in this match, when price attempted, now depending on the supply pressure, if the depending on the supply pressure, if the supply pressure is not strong enough to hold bulls, what we're likely going to see, because this is a bull market, XRP is in a strong bull market. Forget this sideways you are seeing. This sideways is happening, but yet something is very clear. The bulls are still printing higher lows. That's higher lows. Higher lows are market structure, bull market structure, right? We still keep seeing higher lows, which tells you that whatever you do, you're just not seeing price moving, but price is moving, right? You might feel that price is just stagnant and it's just going back and forth to the same area, but what you don't know is accumulation is actually going on. And with accumulation, there must come a time where price will break out of that accumulation zone, out of that consolidation, and when that happens, that's going to propel price higher. So if you are trading XRP and you're a holder, you should hold on tight. You should hold on tight, because something is coming. And I see this happening like a parabolic move, right? It's like a parabolic move that's coming, right? So like I said, it's going to parabolically move to almost 0.12, at least $1 parabolic move. That is when it's going to touch here for the what, minimum of 2 touches already. So it could touch here for the 3rd time, and that is why we are seeing this stylishly move up. But if you have played close attention, you see that our new support is between 0.36 to 0.4. It has been now our new support. Remember when this was a strong resistance area, bulls could not make it above it, but now they have properly made it above it, and they are preparing themselves to actually hold it as a new support area. And if they succeed, which they will succeed, from the way things are going out, they are likely to succeed. And if that happens, then get ready. XRP, I've been saying this since January. XRP has a plan. If you're a holder and you've been holding for quite some time, I think your patience is about to rip off soon, and it's going to be a parabolic move that so many people are going to miss it and not see it coming. So that's XRP on the daily chart. Now let's look at XRP on the 4 hours chart. It gets really interesting, right? So we see this sideways movement happening on 4 hours, right? Now, unlike Bitcoin, unlike Ethereum, unlike Litecoin, they have all made some move to the upside. But this particular coin is on a sideways, right? It's actually on a sideways. Look at it. This is the 4 hours chart, and since February it's been on this sideways. Now this is when you see a sideways, like I said, it is not a bad sign. When price is going sideways, what you should consider is, what was the trend before the beginning of the sideways? The trend before the beginning of the sideways was uptrend, right? Uptrend.